Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to the second day of our B2B Christmas calendar. Today, we'll be looking into how to create really great offers using AI. So, the thing that we will do today is not just to reinvent an offer for the sake of it. We will build on the stuff that we were doing yesterday in the premiere of the B2B Christmas calendar 2025. So, yesterday we created a long audience analysis report. Today, we will use specific prompts to build offers out of that audience analysis report. So, let's get into it. The three prompts that we will be running today seems very intimidating at first because this page, which you're now on, you will see if you try to scroll to the bottom, it is extremely long because you can see here the prompts, it's even in small text. They're extremely long, each one of them, and we're going to fill them with even more text on the first prompt. So this looks very, very difficult and very, very large from the outside, but I will break it down for you exactly how we're going to use this because this might be one of the easiest things that we do throughout the whole Christmas calendar because there's nothing new that we're adding into the mix apart from maybe one thing if you don't already have it. So let's get into this and let me show you how to go through the whole process using a client of mine. So you can see here, first of all, we need a thinking model to run these in. I prefer to run this in Gemini 3.0, 3.0 Pro. It is by far my favorite model right now. If you don't have it, I highly recommend you to get the $20 a month plan. It is incredibly worth it. So I will be showing you how we're doing it in Gemini 3. So we want to start by mirroring our existing offer. We want to have AI basically using the audience memo from yesterday and then comparing that audience memo, those insights, to the offer which we already have. And then we wanted to make an evaluation on whether this makes sense or not and what potentially should change. So the way that we do this is you simply click copy, as you can see here on the screen. So you copy this and then you put this over into Gemini, like I've done here. And then you go to input data. So if we look here at the input data that we need and we zoom in a bit, then we need the market intel from day one. So the stuff we talked about. And we need the current offer source. So here I recommend you to not add a URL if you're using Gemini. If you're using ChatGPT, you can add a URL directly. With Gemini, you would either already have a description of your offer, what you're doing essentially, or you can do a walk around, which is something I did here with my client. So you can see here I've just prompted ChatGPT thinking, very important distinction. Help me define the offer we're selling right now, given my website. Break it down into a summary. Only consider our solution an offer, not who we're selling to. And then I added a website. And here you can see we have an offer description. So what I did then is that I filled the input data with the market intel that I had for this client. So the report that Gemini gave me yesterday for this client. And then in the bottom of the market intel, which is very long, as you remember from yesterday, then let's see, it was very, very long. Yeah, no matter what, like in the other input data, the current offer, I added what I got out of ChatGPT here. So I sent this to Gemini, and then here is the output that I got. So here it scores how the offer actually fits with the audience that we have and the intel that we got from day one. So you can read this in the detail that you want when you run it. It's probably going to be valuable for you to see. And then the second prompt that we run is just copy paste. So if we go down to prompt number 2, here, architecting your offer. Then we just copy this prompt and you don't need to change anything. Just make sure that you add this prompt in the same chat. Do not open anything new. So you can see I have added this prompt to in here. And then it has basically reinvented the offer that this client had from his website. And it has created a new type of angle for it, which is more suiting for the type of audience that he sits with. So we get this output. I recommend you to read through it in detail so that you get all the learnings about your own offer. We're not going to spend too much time on the actual client case here. And then we head to step 3. So step 3 is, or prompt 3, is creating a source of truth. What I mean by that is that now we have a redesigned offer. Of course, there are some parts of it which you might think, yeah, I can't really service that, or I don't really want to service that. That's fine. We will change that after. But what we want to do now is that we want to run this third prompt so that we can create another. I call it the source of truth. You can call it a part of a knowledge base for the rest of the days in this B2B Christmas calendar that we'll go through. We'll run this prompt, and then the output you get is something that we can copy and that we can use further down the line to explain our offer inside of the prompts that we will be doing. So you copy this prompt, you don't have to do any changes once again, and you run it to Gemini inside of the same chat. So you see here I have just an offer source of truth for this client with a one-liner, with the biggest problem that we're solving, with the solution, with the mechanism, with the value stacks, the deliverables that we have here, and the rules of engagement, exclusion criteria. So this is what we do to make sure that when we're doing more prompt engineering, or basically like it's prompt engineering to a certain extent, but it's just prompting with specific inputs. When we do that further down the line inside of the Christmas calendar, we will get way better results since you already have all of this context. So what I recommend you to do now is to copy this, put it in the Google document that we made yesterday, or make a Google document if you haven't gone through yesterday, and then edit anything which you don't think you could stand for, that you don't think you could do, so that this actually becomes a source of truth that we can use for the rest of the Christmas calendar. So that's it in terms of building out the offer. I would take all of the insights, read through them, think very deeply about it. All of this is made using the value equation from Alex Shamosi. Big shout out to him for this. He has an extremely good way of quantifying what a good offer is and what a good offer isn't. So you can see that inside of the prompts, they all have this methodology part in the input data, which is a huge part of each of the prompts. This is how you use AI to get really good outputs. You need to make it go into a character that has a certain knowledge base so that it can give you the best type of advice. So this is a way of creating the offer, but once again, as I talked about yesterday as well, the offer is just one piece of the infrastructure that we're creating throughout this Christmas calendar. So we're going to look through everything from building out the audience like we did yesterday, to building out the offer, and then to start looking at how do we find the audience, how do we place the offer in front of them, how do we create lead magnets that attract the offer. There's a lot of different components that come with this. And one thing which we're doing throughout this Christmas is that we're helping a set amount of B2B founders with building out this infrastructure completely for them. We're doing this normally outside of Christmas as well, but we have a specific Christmas incentive for this type of build. So if that is you who, like, if you feel like this is something that you need, if you're referral dependent, which is the type of businesses that we work with, then I would recommend you to pay attention for a couple of minutes more. If you're not, if you're just here to see the prompts and to do all of these things, then you can move on to the next day in the calendar or wait. But if you have a problem with over dependence on referrals, then you should listen to this. Because what you should be doing if you have a B2B business and you got majority of your clients from referrals, and you hit some sort of basically stop in the growth where you couldn't get beyond the next level, then you should try to engineer referrals. You should try to create artificial referrals. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So, the mechanisms of a referral is essentially that you have a third party that you're doing a trust transfer through. You don't have to build trust with your end client because you already have some referrer, some third party. Our job when we market B2B businesses like yours is to take that third party out of the equation and to build that trust. Building that trust is a thing that we can do either manually, spending a lot of our time doing in person meetings or one on one video calls, or we can build different sorts of content assets like the one that you're watching right now. We can do different webinars where we have a lot of leverage, as you might have been to with me before. If we do these types of things at scale and we can distribute it, then we actually replace that third party without making you overworked. So let me show you exactly how we do this in businesses like yours. So you need a way of generating emails. We typically do this through one of two sources. Either we do it through LinkedIn posts, meaning we create these micro solutions to the problems that the audience has, and then we put it out on LinkedIn. We ask people to comment if they want it, and then we have automations on the backend that deliver this type of solution to them. And then on the flip side, if we have a very, very niche audience that you're working with, then we run outbound campaigns on LinkedIn. The way that we do that is that we have AI agents that go out on the web to scrape and to find your list of leads. And then we reach out to them only to create basically a positive association with you. We don't pitch anyone when we do that type of outbound. We only want to gather emails in a compliant way, which we do through both of these. So with the automations where we gather the emails, then we put a nurturing sequence in place. So everyone from your audience, then we funnel them in both through emails and through ads on Meta. So with the emails, we have 20 different emails that we send on repeat to the audience. You might be wondering, like, how can we send them on repeat? Well, the thing is that if we send one email per week and we send 20 of them, then there's a 5 month cycle between each email. People don't remember the emails they got 5 months back in time. So if we create this type of system in the right way, we only need to create the content for it once. At the same time, when we show them ads, we use the same sort of principle. The ads just come in waves so that they feel like they're seeing new, fresh ads all the time. And all of the ads, as well as all of the emails, are just these solutions to their problems. So these lead magnets or these content assets where we have a lot of leverage on our own time. As these are just showing for the audience over and over, we're tracking how much they actually engage with them. So if they click on the ads, if they click on the emails, if they reply to the emails, if they click on the links that they get, based on that, we score them. So we attribute points to whether they do or not do certain activities. Based on this scoring, we can place them in either a cold category, a warm category, or a hot category. And you understand where that leads, of course, which is that you only want to spend your time talking with the ones in the hot category. So this type of system essentially builds out these types of content assets and delivers them for your audience automatically without you having to be involved. The way that we set this up for B2B founders is that we basically drain your brain in terms of your knowledge, the stuff that is made like you get referrals in the past because you obviously know your stuff if you get a lot of referrals. And then we feed that into an AI infrastructure we have to create these content assets. With these assets, we place them into the infrastructure, and then you have something that creates more eyeballs to your business month after month, and that nurtures them on autopilot and uses signal-based marketing that you own with your infrastructure to actually get good leads coming in your way, sales qualified leads. That's the thing that we're doing. And during this Christmas, we're doing this with an extra incentive, both cost wise in terms of our setup cost, and also that we're doing 12 months of backend extra support after we do this type of infrastructure build. So if you are a B2B founder who's struggling with over dependency on referrals, then I recommend you to click below and then to book a call with me. And then I will show you the next steps in that process, and you'll get way more information so that you can figure out whether this is something for you or not. Without further being said, then I hope this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next day of the B2B Christmas calendar. Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas.